Welcome back to MarkOneModels. In this episode, we'll start on a series of builds that I was originally going to call the Roadkill Builds, but where some of the vehicles these builds were inspired by were not on Roadkill, but instead on other projects that David Freiburger and Mike Finnegan were making. I'll just refer to them as the Freiburger Finnegan Builds. With that decision made, let's go to the build. Today I'll be sharing the Roadkill Muscle Truck. For some background, this is a 1974 C10 with an all-aluminum LS6 V8 engine, a turbo 400 transmission, and a Ford 9-inch rear end. Modifications include an MSD atomic EFI system, a crane camshaft, and a gear bender's overdrive unit for improved performance. The exhaust features 4-inch Dynamax race bullet mufflers. For suspension, it has tubular upper and lower control arms and coilovers with the 2-inch drop spindles up front, and leaf springs with Caltrack bars in the rear. It has an aluminum fuel cell in the rear, and Traeger soft 8s with 225 50-17s in the front and 285 60-17s in the rear. Yes, I know that Freiburger has made upgrades to it since this time of the build, but these were the specs when I made my model. For my source kit, I had Revell's 1/25th scale Billy Carter Redneck power kit. In hindsight, I may have preferred to get a kit with a 2-wheel drive truck, but this was available, reasonably priced, and I knew I could make all the necessary mods I needed. With that in mind, I needed to change the front suspension that this came with. I scratch-built upper and lower control arms from styrene rod and locked the spindles off of the front drive axle so I could mount them on the upper and lower control arm assemblies. I made my coilovers from styrene rod and surrounded them with the springs from pins to complete the look. On the back end of the frame, I needed to add a C-notch. I used rectangular styrene tube to replicate this. I added in a resin-printed fuel cell from One For You on eBay and a piece of square tube styrene to represent the receiver on the back of the truck. The wheels the kit came with were wagon wheels instead of the Traegers with the round holes that the muscle truck has, but I decided they were close enough. Similarly, I shaved down the edges of the tires that came with the kit to match the look of the ones on the muscle truck. The engine I used is a resin Chevy LS3 from Jay's Resin Wheels 1948 on eBay. With a couple strips of styrene added to represent the MSD integrated ECU fuel rails to both sides of the intake, it looks the part of the LS6 that Freiburger used, so I was happy with this choice. I finished up the intake with a section of styrene tube I bent and a resin-printed air filter from the Parts Box 420 on eBay. Exhaust was made from some bullet mufflers I had in my parts bin with styrene tuned fore and aft. With the chassis complete, I needed to focus on the body now. The issue with the Billy Carter kit is it has a light panel that attaches to the roof by a large recess in the center. I filled that in with styrene and went over it with putty. The cab is multiple shades of primer, so I masked off the various sections and painted each as needed. The bed of the truck also needed some adjustment. The Billy Carter kit comes with cutouts in the rear fender steps to allow for exhaust stacks to come up behind the cab doors. I filled those holes in and also cut a rectangular hole in the bed for the C-notch to come through and made that with sheet styrene and painted it to match. Like with the cab, the bed of the muscle truck is several different colors, so again painted it to match. In spots there were splotches of paint. I did my best to replicate those as well. The Billy Carter kit did not come with a metal bumper, nor the tail lights the muscle truck has, so I ordered a loose bumper off the internet and fabricated the taillight assemblies from various rectangular styrene bars. Some final details of the exterior include creating the pinstriping on the fenders, the license plates, and the easily recognized Roadkill decal on the back window. The interior was fairly straightforward, but I made sure to include all the relevant details. Freiburger had welded up a custom cup holder / shifter mount. I created one as well with styrene rod and sheet, and the shifter came from my spares bin. I was hoping to find some photo-etched pliers or vice grips online to mimic the ones the muscle truck has for rolling the windows up and down. It's not able to do so. So again, I created these from styrene. While I had not intended to do so, the paint on the dashboard ended up doing a crackle finish, which ends up looking pretty much like the dash on any square body out there. This was a fun build, and it's nice to be able to make models of vehicles I have thoroughly enjoyed watching on television and the internet. The actual muscle truck is owned by David Freiburger, and you can see it and many other cool vehicles and fun adventures on his YouTube channel. If you see something you like there, chances are he has some cool merch available as well, so you should check out his page. I think the model turned out pretty good. What's your favorite part of the build? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Check back for more Freiburger Finnegan builds, as well as all the other builds that I do. If you enjoyed this, please give a like and subscribe, and feel free to share with your friends as well. Thank you again for watching MarkOneModels.